Hello and welcome to a brand new video. Now today we're going to take a look at what was one of Leeds' other stations that is no more. And later in its life it became a goods station known as the Hunslet Lane Goods Station. Now it did have quite a few different names and you guys will know it today as the Crown Point Retail Park in Leeds. That's the whole site right behind me there. Now where I'm stood currently is Jack Lane. Now a few of you railway enthusiasts out there will know what Jack Lane is and will know what's on Jack Lane. Now we'll hopefully have a look at that in a minute. Right, so where we're stood now, again you can see the Midland Railway down there. You had the Middleton Railway just on this wall to the left here, running alongside here. And then down there you can see what was the original cutting there in them trees as the line branched off and headed off that way into the Hunslet Engine Company yard, or the site, which was all the top side up there. So you had the first branch going off here into the Hunslet Engine Works, and then just down here on the left you had another line that left the Midland and it headed off again in that direction, but straight on and up towards what is now the Crown Point Retail Park. Now I'm going to show you a picture. You know I love my fade pictures. So another picture taken from here, and then I'm going to show you another one a bit further up, which shows the two separate branches leaving the Midland here. First one being into the engine works and the second one into the Hunslet Lane goods yard. So we've now headed over the other side of the Jack Lane Bridge, and right here is where the line would have carried on that way and then joined the Midland just down there. And I've got another picture to show you, and I'm sure you're glad to hear that. Taken from this bridge, looking this way, just again so you can get an idea of what it used to look like without all these trees here. Let me just give you a bit of information about the Hunslet Lane goods shed. Now, I am reading this off a phone, by the way, but the station opened as an actual passenger station in 1840, and it would have been known as Hunslet Station in Leeds. Now, a few years later, in 1846, I hope I'm getting that right, 1846, the Wellington Station in Leeds opened, which I have covered in another video. Now when that opened, which is not far from this one, they no longer needed this one as a passenger station. Now this station then became a goods shed, or a goods yard, which lasted all the way up through, right up until 1972, when it was closed and they no longer needed it and required it anymore. The site was left derelict for many years, until in 1989 it turned into what you know it as today, and that is the Crown Point Retail Park. So while we're here on Jack Lane, Kris has just mentioned to me, you can just see a diamond shape cut out there. Obviously that used to hold a sign on the bridge, and there was one on the other side as well. Apparently it used to hold a weight restriction on the bridge for traction engines. Now, you might be thinking, why would they put a traction engine weight restriction on a bridge? Well, that's because you had two of the oldest and biggest traction engine companies in Leeds at either side of this bridge. So you had the J&H McLaren on this side, the traction engine makers, and then on the other side, you had the John Fowler Works as well. So that's why they needed a weight limit restriction on this bridge. So while we're here, we just thought we'd show you the Hunslet Engine Works, which is a bit further up from where we are now. But you can see there was also another one down here, and it's actually called the Old Engine Works on that sign there. But that was the Manning Wardle Engine Works right there. A lot of people didn't know, but Leeds is quite famous for making trains or engines back in the day. I never knew that until probably 10 years ago. We've got one of the original buildings here for the Hunslet Engine Works. And you can see it proudly above the doorway there. The Hunslet Engine Co. And then down here in the road, we've got some rails. All this site here was a massive engine works all around the back here. And you can see one of 3 railway lines here, or tracks in the road. You can see the second one here. And then if we just make our way down here, you can see one that branches out from here, heads on through this piece of grass here, and again, onwards into the site there to a dead end. But there's no longer any engines made down here. Now the Hunslet Engine Company still exists today. It's still operating, although it's now based up in near Thwaite Gate in Hunslet. Now if you watched my Hunslet Swing Bridge video, you can briefly see it behind me, the new office there. Now just down here you can just see the cutting down there. It's a very narrow cutting, and you can still see an original sign on the wall as well. This is where the tracks left the Midland, down on the left down here. And they would have brought the engines up here as it sloped up gradually down the side of this building here to the road level down there, and crossed on the rails that you saw a minute ago into the large works all up there at the back end of that building. So we're now stood on Hunslet Lane, and Jack Lane is just over there on that bridge, and you can see the cutting that I was talking about heading this way towards the Crown Point site now. But these are the original walls, obviously. Now, was there a signal box down here, Chris? I think I remember seeing a picture of one. Was it that end? The other side? So let's head over here. I'll show you this side. So you can see the cutting as it heads that way. And then just beyond that bridge there is where it would have opened up into the Crown Point or the Hunslet Lane goods yard. So we're just making our way up to the bridge closest to the actual goods station site, or Crown Point today. Just to show you this cutting from this bridge here. Now there's a rather large pipe blocking the view, as you can see. But this is where it would have exited the cutting here and then sprouted off into the large goods site here. Now the actual goods building, or the station building, was right at the top end of the site, which I'll show you shortly. And then just down here there was many sidings and yards and things, unloading places. And down there, just in them trees, if you look at the old map, there was a turntable down there as well. So let's head down there and see what we can see from that side. Now we've just had another look at the pictures, and it turns out the signal box was somewhere around here, just on the where it comes out of the under the bridge here. So I thought it was in the cutting, but it actually wasn't. It was somewhere out here. Yeah, let's have a look through the fence anyway and see what we can see. So as you can see, it's just a cutting now. Quite a deep one though. Yeah, there would have been many tracks coming through here at one point and heading out behind me. Now if you were to come down to Crown Point today, you wouldn't know that this had anything to do with railways unless you head round the back here, and then you can't mistake it. And it's very, very boggy, and I'm not dressed for the boggy weather today because I'm thinking it's going to be quite urban, so I've just got normal boots on. So unfortunately I'm not going to head in there. Although there is a robin down there. You see the robin just there. Like I was saying earlier, if you look at the maps, and I've pinpointed it to right here, there was a large railway turntable, and you can kind of see how the road follows the curve of where it would have been. It would have been right here in the centre of this car park here. This building is what remains of the old John Fowler works that used to be here down in Hunslet. But Kris tells me there used to be lines running out of the engine works here and heading out across this way, where it probably would have joined the turntable over here so they could get the engines onto the tracks and out. So I'm now at the bottom left of the retail park, and the actual main goods station would have been right at the top end near the main road up there. But down here on this section here, there was an engine shed where they could store engines, and it was somewhere right about here. Now I'm going to guess there's a nice square wall there at the back. I'm going to guess that might have been the back of it. So we made our way around the west side of the retail park, and we're right opposite where the Kidacre Street coal stave was for the Midland Railway. That came in right here, and the coal stave would have been right here. But again, we're at the back of the park, and about here where this building is and this one here would have been a bonding warehouse. And you can see on this image here that I'll put in the video. Now if you look at that, as far as I'm aware from what Kris tells me, a bonding warehouse was where they unloaded the goods from the trains, a bit like a customs check, where they would have worked out the tax on the goods before then transporting them over to the goods shed, which would have been right in the middle over there, and then offloaded them back out again onto the railway lines. Or maybe that was the reverse. Maybe the goods came in to the goods shed and then they brought them here to do the tax and things on them and duty, and then send them out via other methods. But I'm just taking a walk all the way around the perimeter of the Crown Point Retail Park, just looking for anything that's remotely old or looks like it might have been here originally. And I'm not having much luck because everything has just been totally redeveloped and flattened. I mean, over there you've got the old Tetley's Brewery, which has gone as well. But anyway, we've just ventured out onto the main road here, and as we were stood there, we noticed, and I'll put the footage in now, we've just spotted some tram track in the road as they're working on the street. Obviously these tracks would have probably come into this goods site here. So right over the back end of the Crown Point Retail Park, or the front end if you're coming off the main road down here, is, like I said, where the actual goods shed was, or the goods station. But this whole site here, probably from sort of down there, maybe 100 yards in front of me, was the actual goods shed here. And all behind that was all the lines coming in. But as you can see, there's not much left today. Now I've just spotted with my eye as I'm talking a piece of wall there, and that looks original to me. I'll just take you closer, but that's all I've seen in this central part here. It's this piece of wall. Wow. But that is it. So like I say, not much left. Now there used to be a statue or like a sculpture further down, which was talking about the station site here. But me and Kris were looking for it and we can't find it. It appears to have gone. I think they've taken it over with car parking. It was like a little park space in the middle. It's now all filled in and it's car parking. So even the memorial has gone. Now at the entrance to the retail park here, we've got a wall. Now this looks suspiciously like it's been reconstructed. We're not sure. We thought it might be original. It's either been restored or reconstructed, but it's what remains of an old entrance here anyway.